Raiders, Patriots, two teams that I think people are very eager to see, right? All the changes that happened in both of these organizations over the offseason, new head coaches, Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll, familiar faces, but new places here. What do we think about this one? Where are we starting this conversation here,
I
Dalton?
think I'm going to look on the side of the ball when the Patriots have the football, and there's questions for me, major questions in the trenches for both sides of this battle. Let's start on the Patriots offensive line that we've talked about throughout the offseason. 4 new starters on this offensive line, 2 rookies on the left side. Will Campbell and Jared Wilson is going to start at left guard, and then you've got Garrett Bradbury over from Minnesota at center, the veteran Mike Owenu at right guard, and Morgan Moses coming over from the Jets, coming off his lowest graded season, or one of his lowest graded seasons, and he was injured. He was playing hurt for a part of last year, so he could be better than last year. So, look, what in the world is this offensive line going to look like? Because you've mentioned it before, Trev. Last year, it was the worst unit in football, and that's why they replaced 4 starters and moved Owenu back into right guard where he should be, right? And we've seen him play both at times. But then you have the Raiders' defensive line. And to me, there's just as many questions here. If you look at this unit, Max Crosby didn't have a great year last year, mostly because he was battling injuries, didn't even get to finish the season. Malcolm Kuntz, the other edge player, didn't play a single snap last year because he tore his ACL in the preseason. And then on the inside, they cut Christian Wilkins, and you're talking about players like Adam Butler, like Thomas Booker. I've got just as many questions on the Raiders' defensive line as I do on the Patriots' offensive line, maybe even more so, right? And I think Will Campbell is going to have an opportunity, especially to succeed in this game, because Crosby generally lines up over the right tackle. He's going to get Morgan Moses, unless Pete Carroll and Thomas Graham decide, hey, we got to move you around more, we got to have you on the blind side, whatever. But I think Will Campbell and this Patriots' offensive line, considering how new they are and how much they're still shuffling things around and figuring out the best 5, and for now it is, especially with Campbell and Wilson, the 2 rookies both starting, and Wilson at a new position, they feel like this is the best 5. And I think they have an opportunity to go in and play a good football game against a Raiders defensive line that, yes, they have Max Crosby, and he can wreck a game anytime if he's healthy. But the rest of it, I have no idea what to expect from this Raiders. We've talked so much about the Raiders in coverage, last in coverage grade, all that stuff, the back 7 we're concerned about. I'm just as concerned about the D-line as I am about the secondary. So if the Patriots want to be better in the trenches under Mike Vrabel, I think at least on the offensive side of the ball, they have a really good chance to do that, especially with 2 young kids playing, 2 rookies playing on the left side of that offensive line. Expect the Patriots to run the ball. Curious to see how many touches Travion Henderson gets. I think you protect Drake May. Don't ask him to carry you in a game like this against what could be a bad defense at all 3 levels. Run the football, stay balanced, win in the trenches, see what your offensive line has.
Dalton, maybe I'm just a draft guy, but I'm really excited about this Raiders receiving room. Now, of course, they got to go out and prove it, but still, Deontay Thornton looks good. I think he is going to be a key part of Geno Smith wanting to throw the ball deep. Brock Bowers is obviously unbelievable, already one of the best tight ends in the NFL. I love Jack Bash. I think that Jacoby Myers is very underrated. I know there's been talk about, him maybe not being happy with his usage and everything, but he's still there. Trey Tucker, I think, is a decent speed option for you. You obviously have Ashton Genty that you can lean on and hand the ball off to and everything. Maybe I'm just a draft guy, but I actually like how I believe that Chip Kelly and Geno Smith, 2 guys who it's a confident play caller, and that's a confident quarterback. I don't think that the Raiders are going to come out of the gate and just be like, very basic game plan. We're going to play very vanilla. We're going to see where we're at. We're going to assess, and then we're going to move forward to the season. I think they're going to hit you in the mouth. I think they're going to dial some deep plays. Certainly, they're going to give the ball to Ashton Genty. I'm not saying that they're not going to, and some people might look at that as conservative. I'm not saying that. But I think that this team is going to be more aggressive passing the football than a lot of people are predicting, specifically against a Patriots secondary that I have major concerns about specifically for this week, because Christian Gonzalez has not practiced since July 28 with a hamstring injury. And it's still sort of up in the air. They're not saying that he's not going to play, but without Christian Gonzalez, this secondary looks like Carlton Davis, Brendan Schooler, Jalen Hawkins, Craig Woodson, Marcus Jones. So there's young guys in there, and even like at the second level, DJ James, Del Pettis, Kyle Duggar, who it feels like they don't really know what to do with anyways because they're looking to potentially trade him. Dalton, I get really worried about this Pats secondary without Christian Gonzalez. With Christian Gonzalez, okay, I feel a lot better about it. I think the front's going to be a lot better. I think the secondary could be fine, especially for this year. But without Gonzo, I get really nervous, especially for a team that's going to want to be, I believe, more aggressive than some people think when it comes to passing the football here in week one. So I think the Raiders are sort of a sneaky team here, especially in week one. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, because some people maybe believe that the Patriots are too far away, but I have the Raiders winning this game. I have them going into Foxborough and winning this game 24-21. What's your score here for this one?
I actually have it pretty close the other way. I have the Patriots 23-21. I actually think of the two defenses, and I get the concerns in the secondary. And if Geno hits a couple deep balls on you, which he's obviously very capable of doing, he's been the best deep passer in the league over the last 3 years. That's obviously a possibility. But I think at the end of the day, this Raiders defense is a big time work in progress. And even look, the wide receivers. Look, we like Dante Thornton. We like Jack Besh, obviously a young guy. I don't know what Jacoby Meyer's status is for this game exactly. And at the end of the day, the Raiders' best player right now is Brock Bowers, and that's going to be the biggest concern, I think, is Brock Bowers against these New England linebackers. But I'm going to trust this offensive line. I'm actually going to trust the way the Patriots are going to be able to run the football in this game. I think TreVeyon Henderson makes a big difference. And right now, you want another bonus bet for me? TreVeyon Henderson's rushing total right now is at like 40 yards. We know he can hit that on one carry. He's a home run hitter, and if this Pats offensive line, because it's just assumed that he's still listed as third on their depth chart, and that must be the most microscopically close third I've ever heard in my life.
That's like Bill Krosky-Merritt being RB4. Like, all right, okay.
I don't know. That one I might actually believe. I don't know about that.
I do not believe.
I'm starting the Chris Rodriguez bandwagon,
second.
by the way. I'm going to be the guy that starts the Chris Rodriguez hive. I'm doing it.
That's fine. They're completely different players, though. Krosky-Merritt's the only dynamic back that they have there.
We'll get to that later. Either way, TreVeyon Henderson, dynamic speed, going to be heavily involved. I think it's actually a really good first game for him to get rushing and receiving. I think he's going to be a part of this passing. I would rather have Henderson out there, to me, and his burst out in the space than Antonio Gibson. But you're going to see a rotation. I think you're going to see balance in this New England offense as long as they don't give up those deep shots, especially Dante Thornton out there, who's looked very dangerous down the field. I think they're going to be okay. It's a long road trip, obviously, even though it's week one. I'm going to take the Patriots 23-21.
Walt, who's always in the chat, noted Raiders fan, says Max Crosby will destroy Morgan Moses. Says
Possibly.
Malcolm Kuntz versus rookie Will Campbell will matter. And then he also shouted out, neither of us mentioned Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's back with the Raiders.
Yeah, true. Also,
so there we go.
Right.
There we go. There's another receiver.
And this is the part where you go, would they? Now, Jacoby Myers is a really good player. He is. But does that at least make up for most of the difference they're getting? Because Cooper's still got something left in the tank, obviously. So if he can just be a chain mover for you while those other guys, Bowers and Thornton and Besh, are flying all over the place, then he could make a difference in this game.
Also, Mike Vrabel did say that he expects Stephon Diggs to play in this game. So
big.
It's a preview show on a Wednesday. A lot can happen. But Mike Vrabel's saying that he's hoping it happens.